What Pete Alonso just pulled off is absolutely unreal. It's not only 63 years in the making, but it also makes Alonso stand alone from 1,282 players to ever put on the blue and orange. So stay tuned only here on Mets Digest to hear what the Polar Bear did that is so historic. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. We're going to talk about Alonso and what he did, but first we got to talk about some subscribers, and that being the fact that 69.8% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please do me a favor, do us a favor here at Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Finally, Pete did it. 253 career home runs. He is the all-time New York Met home run hitter, and we'll get to this in just a little bit. It's actually not even at 253. It is at even more for his career. Pete Alonso makes history. He did it last night in a slugfest against the Atlanta Braves. We'll hear all the details coming up in just a little bit. But the thing that I want to note, of course, 252 was the number for 36 years. Darryl Strawberry did it. His number is up in the rafters. His number is retired. And Alonso reached the 253 mark in 141 fewer games than Darryl Strawberry. Yes, he stands alone. More home runs than anyone in Met history to put on the uniform. That includes anyone that has ever played a game. Anyone that's even been called up and never even gotten a game. Alonso stands alone. Yes, he hit another one last night to make it 254 in addition to that 253rd shot. We'll talk about all of that in depth later today in another video that I got coming out later. But first, let's tune it over to the details. Here it is. A 394-foot home run, 112.8 off the bat. It was an absolute missile with not that high of a launch angle. It was a line drive shot. He went the other way. It went to right center. His 27th of the season, a two-run shot. Gave the Mets a 5-1 lead. Yes, they ended up blowing it to make it 5-5, but then they blew it out of the water and ended up winning 13-5. Again, video coming on that later today. And this stacks up really, really well all time. Pete Alonso will go down as one of the best power hitters, not only in Met history, he's going to be the best power hitter in Met history. Technically speaking, by the home run count, he already is. He is going to go down as one of the best power hitters in the history of baseball. Take a look at this. Pete Alonso is the 10th quickest player to reach 254 career home runs in terms of game. I know that this is 250, but I did the math. He is 10th all time to reach the 254 mark. And look at the company that he's in. Aaron Judge, he'll probably make the Hall of Fame. I think that's a guarantee. He'll be a first ballot, might even be unanimous. Already a two-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, seven-time All-Star, four-time Silver Slugger. Ryan Howard, of course, a legend with the Phillies, former MVP, Rookie of the Year, three-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger. Ralph Kiner, who's in the Hall of Fame with six-time All-Stars. Harmon Killebrew, who's a Hall of Famer, an MVP, and a 13-time All-Star. Shohei Ohtani, who might go down as the greatest player in baseball history. Already three MVPs, Rookie of the Year, five-time All-Star, three-time Silver Slugger. Albert Pujols, who's a three-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, two-time Gold Glover, six-time Silver Slugger, batting title champ, and fourth all-time on the home run list. Third, if you don't count Barry Bonds because he took steroids. You got Juan Gonzalez, who was a two-time MVP, three-time All-Star, six-time Silver Slugger. Giancarlo Stanton, who's an MVP, five-time All-Star, two-time Silver Slugger, still playing now. He's over with the Yankees. And to wrap it all up, Alonso joins the company of Albert Bell, a five-time All-Star and a five-time Silver Slugger. And look at the names under Pete. Alex Rodriguez, if he didn't take steroids, would be a first ballot Hall of Famer, potentially unanimous. Babe Ruth, who I believe is the best player in the history of baseball. Ernie Banks, who's a Hall of Famer and one of the greats of all time. Kyle Schwarber, who's one of the best power hitters now in modern day baseball and could go down again as one of the best players to ever play baseball as a power hitter. Eddie Matthews, who's a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest players in baseball history. He is amongst so many leaders in terms of how quick he reached the 250 home run mark, and now of course the 254, which is so historic. The 253rd, of course, passing Darryl Strawberry for the most home runs in a New York Met uniform. Let's go ahead and take a look at the active home run leaders in terms of players that are playing now. We saw Stanton on there. Look at this. All of these guys that are playing right now, Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt, Manny Machado, Freddie Freeman, Bryce Harper, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Santana, Andrew McCutchen, Kyle Schwarber, Eugenio Suarez, Marcelo Zuna, Salvi Perez, Mookie Betts, Jose Ramirez, George Springer, Matt Olson, Francisco Lindor, and Jose Abreu, Alonso reached the 254 mark before all of them, and he already ranks 22nd in active home runs, and he is the youngest player on this list. Yes, he is younger than Shohei Ohtani. He has played less seasons than Ohtani, less seasons than anyone on the list, and he is the only one that is age 30. Of course, Ohtani is also age 30, but Alonso is indeed younger. So great job all around from the Polar Bear, a historic night, and let's turn it over to Anthony Tacoma of MLB.com about the incredible moment. He's going to take you through it with his words. He says several minutes after Pete Alonso hit his 253rd career home run, becoming the only player in New York Met history to reach that number, Citi Field's oversized scoreboard cut to a shot of him at first base. A paid crowd of 39,748 fans. By the way, absolutely incredible attendance numbers throughout the 2025 season. Great job from all the Met fans. They're really showing up this year. That crowd had already spent some time serenading Alonso, chanting his name, and celebrating him during a curtain call. When the camera zoomed in on his face, Alonso took his cap in his right hand and raised it to the sky. Then the chants began anew. That was how Alonso spent his first moments as the New York Met home run king, a title that until Tuesday, Darryl Strawberry had held exclusively for 37 years. I said 36 earlier. It's 37 years that Strawberry had that record. Of course, his number is up there in the rafters, retired by the Mets. Alonso's march to the franchise record finally ended at 7:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night when he lined a Spencer Strider fastball into the visiting bullpen opposite field to pass Strawberry for good. 3 innings later, he added number 254 in a 13-5 rout of the Atlanta Braves. Tacoma continues explaining the moment, saying as he trotted around the bases following his milestone homer, Alonso broke into a wide grid. Upon reaching home, he wrapped Brandon Nimmo and Jeff McNeil, 2 of the 3 teammates who have been present his entire career, the third being Edwin Diaz, in bear hugs. He then removed his helmet and raised both arms to the sky, a curtain call, gazing at the tens of thousands of fans saluting him with a standing ovation. By that point, Alonso's other teammates and coaches had poured onto the field where they took turns embracing him. Alonso eventually made his way into the dugout, then up to the top step where he indulged in a curtain call. Only after all that did he settle into a pose along the dugout rail. Of course, they take pictures after every home run, that being the Mets. A couple of guys, you always see Jose Siri in them, by the way, which I think is really funny. Spending the rest of his innings parked there with a wistful smile on his face. What a great night for the Polar Bear. Let's hear what he had to say. He said, as a kid, you don't really think that it's in the realm of possibility to be a franchise home run leader. It's a wild dream, to be honest, and it's really special. What did the skip have to say? Carlos Mendoza goes, you watch that face and how much joy he had. It was hard to describe the face of Pete there. He was just enjoying the moment. It meant a lot to him for how much we've been through the past 2 months to just live that moment. I think we've got to take a step back there and appreciate what we experienced. That's what the skip had to say. Let's turn it over to his teammate, one of the 3 guys that has been with him since 2019 in a Met uniform, Brandon Nimmo. Nim said, you've got to work hard at it in order to get a standing ovation here. Brandon knows best out of anybody. He has been the longest tenured New York Met, of course, a member of the Amazing since 2016. He definitely deserved it in that moment. There's only one organization that you're drafted by. There's only one organization that you come up with and that you set these marks with. To have to restart is not something that everyone wants to do, and that is a perfect way to segue into our ensuing topic, and that being that the New York Mets need to keep Pete Alonso around. We'll continue with the expert voices. It's Anthony Tacoma who says that Alonso broke the record in 965 career games, 141 fewer than Strawberry, and that is a testament to his power hitting prowess, his ability to stay healthy, and his long tenure in Queens. Though he could have departed after last season, and many Met fans thought he would, and many Met fans honestly didn't mind if he did so, particularly before he hit that Game 3 early wild card series home run in Milwaukee. Personally, I'll admit it, I honestly wanted the Mets to pinch hit for him because he was just having a terrible season, but he has really turned it around, and he is a great guy on and off the field. He is a leader. I, for one, want to keep him 100%. We'll get into that in just a second. So, he could have departed last season, but he chose to return on a 2-year, $54 million contract with an opt-out after 2025. We'll talk about that in just a second. Now, that's a little bit misleading because he tested the free agent market and his agent, Scott Boras, was a little too greedy, and therefore he had to quote-unquote settle with the Mets for this quote-unquote lower deal. But regardless, that gave him a prime opportunity to smash Strawberry's record, which he of course did, as Alonso remained healthy into the midsummer months, running his consecutive games played record up to 373 and counting. That is really impressive. Again, this is a guy that never gets hurt. The only question became whether he would become the home run king at home or on the road, and he ended up doing so at home at Citi Field in front of Met fans after tying Strawberry in Milwaukee last weekend on the road. He, of course, was hoping the milestone would occur at home at Citi Field so he could celebrate it in the proper fashion, and that he did the first game back at home. That he would wound up homering twice in a blowout win proved to be a double bonus. Great job overall from Alonso, but like Tacoma was saying, we need to keep him around. Plain and simple. Pete Alonso wants to play through his age 40 season, and he'd like to play those years for the Mets. On the business side, Steve Cohen and David Stearns, they've got to come through. That, of course, is from Abby Mastracco, who is from the Daily News. She is a beat writer with the New York Mets. She says everything perfectly in this tweet. Here are the follow-up comments from Alonso. If they choose to go in another direction, for me, it's been an absolute treat and pleasure here. I mean, this group is really special. I mean, this group was one of the biggest reasons why I came back. I love it. That is awesome to hear from Pete, but hey, I don't want it to end. Nobody wants it to end. He wants to play through age 40. He wants to play for the Mets. Stearns, go get it done. Keep him here. Look at this. He's also the third member. He is third on the all-time list of RBIs in New York Met history. David Wright, of course, stands alone very tall at 970. But if Alonso is to sign an extension, a multi-year extension, even if it's 2 or 3 years, I think he can reach that RBI title in 3 years and surpass David Wright. He'll get to his 1,000th RBI. I think he's potentially on his way to a Hall of Fame career. You need to keep Pete Alonso around. Not only that, he's a leader on and off the field. He's a good presence. He's a good guy. And of course, a very, very productive player and the keystone at first base. And honestly, if you keep him around, who knows? Not only will I believe his numbers will go up in the rafter, he could be better than the all-time best first baseman who is now in the booth in Keith Hernandez. The Athletic also posted an article today titled "The Mets Must Do Right" by Pete Alonso, their new home run king, and keep him in Queens for good. As we mentioned, he is currently on a 2-year, $54 million deal with a player option for $24 million next year. Almost guaranteed he will not take that. He will probably believe that his worth is way more. And given the market, it absolutely is. So let's hope that even if he tests the market, that David Stearns and Steve Cohen step up and they re-sign him. It's very simple. Go lock him up, David Stearns and Steve Cohen, please and thank you. Let's go down there in the comment section. Congratulate Alonso on this awesome milestone, a historic milestone in New York Met history. And let me know, do you want to keep the polar bear around in Flushing? I absolutely do. I think his entire career should be spent here, even if he plays through his age 40 season. I want Pete with the Mets. Again, let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Give me your reasons down below. Thank you so much, always, for watching. As unfortunately, this is all the time I have for you today. And let's go Mets.